I'm joined by Emil Sutovsky, the CEO of FIDE, the International Chess Federation. Emil,
Hi, Levy.
good to see you. Good to meet you. We're here in Toronto for the first candidates. And actually, there's a lot of firsts for this event, right? There's the first men and women playing at the same time, kind of in the same venue. There's also the first one in North America. So how are the emotions? We're a few hours away from the start.
Very excited, not only because, let's say, it was a massive preparation and half a year of preparation or even more. Now it's here as a time and the event is going to start. But also as a chess fan and as a chess professional in the past, and I know how much chess players and chess fans are following candidates. So the anticipation has been growing, and today the day one, and very excited.
Has this one been harder, easier to organize, considering it's so far away from, I guess, where they usually are? Or how are you enjoying the city, the chess culture here in Toronto? Because I love it.
I'd say it was more difficult than most of the events. It's true, because most of our team is located in Europe. And as you know, that was always an idea that we would try and find new venues, and also to bring it to different continents. And it's indeed the first major event in North America of the kind. And it was difficult. We have been here before. We came here much in advance to prepare. It took us quite a while to resolve the visa issues, as you know.
Yeah.
But I think all that, it was worth it. And now we see an interest from the local chess community is huge. And over 70% of tickets are booked already. And we know that it's going to be huge.
How close was the event to actually not happening? Like, or at least not happening, but not happening here and being moved? Because to me, I just thought, like, when I saw that first post, I was thinking, but shouldn't this been resolved? I mean, months before. I mean, how are you guys sleeping at that point?
Good question. It was indeed a matter of days to relocate it, not to canceling. There was and we could have moved it. But it's not that we have been sleeping. I mean, the first visas were submitted, the applications were submitted back in November. It's not like we have been sleeping. And then some players had a good excuse that they didn't know they qualified. So only they qualified by the end of December. So the first or second week of January. Yeah. And still we didn't have any reply. But then I have to praise also the Canadian immigration. They after we managed to reach them, after we managed to establish direct dialogue, it went very smooth and quickly.
Did Twitter actually help with that?
Yes.
Really?
I think so.
Wow. Like somehow just someone tagging and getting it there. And
not necessarily this way, but some people who were close to the minister, not the minister himself, but then I spoke already to his office, to the general director of the office, and we established this direct line of communication, and it went very smoothly and well.
I want to ask you a few questions about, I mean, obviously we know the candidates is here, and I'm probably end the interview with asking you a more existential candidates question about future of chess and everything. There's a lot of conversations about that. But I guess just a good place to start is, I estimate, and I don't know if you agree or disagree, 90% of modern chess fans came from 2020 to 2024. Like the pool has grown a lot. And for all of them at home, there's a lot of different people that organize a lot of different tournaments. Some FIDE, like Candidates, World Championship Cycle, Chess.com puts on a bunch of things. Now we see freestyle chess. I mean, like, it seems anyone can come in, organize a tournament. So for the people watching at home, I think it would be better if you explained it than I explained it. Just FIDE's history, role in all of this, in growing the game, putting on these events. I think it would be better than if I was in some video trying to describe it, because
right.
I'm actually not even fully aware of the extent of all the history. I was just a chess player growing up, and now I'm a bit of a professional, but I haven't gone to these international events or anything like that. So,
okay, I'll go one by one probably. About the 90%, I would say 90% of those who are engaged in one way or another, but not 90% of those who follow major events, because I would say,
okay.
Indeed, the number of people who are following streams or playing online grew just incredibly, but probably not the audience for the top events, because still the hardcore audience, of course, grew as well, but not in such quantities, because for many people who were following chess, they kept following, and the influx for following the top events is significant, but not as like 90% increase. No, nowhere close to that. It's important to distinguish what FIDE does compared to others. Basically, FIDE is an international sports federation. So it's like any other, like FIFA, for example, which is organizing a bunch of things, which is no private or commercial entity does. FIDE is non-for-profit international organization. We unite 200 national federations and we overview their activities. And our role is organizing all sorts of world championships and international events, which include, well, not only professional chess, all the kids events, all the juniors events, senior events, team events, and so on. Be it classical chess format, rapid or blitz. This event in Toronto also would help people to learn more about FIDE, because for us, it's also important that this event does not stop only in this building with the professional top players. We have a bunch of side events. We have many kids coming. We have fun zones and so on. Blitz tournaments should be also some fun. It shouldn't be just, classical, because people, when think about FIDE, they think, okay, just classical, just the old style. And it's not true. Basically, we every year we introduce new types of events. For example, last year we introduced, and this year we continue with World Rapid and Blitz team championship.
Sure.
And Magnus is playing this year. So
well, then people are going to watch.
Yeah, August 1 to 6. It is confirmed already. So, you can actually line up a team. Why not? Why don't you?
Can I just join Magnus's team, or will
no, I think that you can join because he's in a team with like 6 players of 27, 50.
Oh, there's no average
Yeah. You can basically, okay. But you can ask Hikaru, for example. He's still not in that team, and many other top players not. FIDE. I think it's going to be an exciting event. But we're doing a lot every year. Let's say World Rapid Championship, which is every year on Christmas time. It's also an exciting event, very, very much followed because it's a lot of dynamism there and it's very telegenic.
And hopefully, one night dance per year, which leads to some controversy with the draws. And it's good. It's good. I sometimes think that no publicity is necessarily bad. Like, I've been asked over the last few years if something like a cheating scandal is a good thing for chess, and it's never one way or another fully. But if more people are going to watch the game and ultimately watch events like this and stay in the ecosystem and play, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. But I will say, like, for me, I'm at a completely different angle. So I grew up as a chess player locally in the States. I played a bit, I quit, I would come back, I would play, and then I taught chess while I was in college. The only knowledge and relationship I had with FIDE was a FIDE rating. That was essentially it, and maybe, getting the titles. And so now title, I guess I haven't gotten GM yet. But I never really imagined that I would turn into what I am now, which is a content creator for chess. And I can be a promoter for an event. I can be a member of the community. Like, even last night here, I was hanging out with a couple hundred people just playing chess. But I will tell you, there is a big divide, like to what you said. People definitely have a perception that FIDE is it's like very serious, always putting on these kind of classical events, like this one, and obviously the World Championship. And I've been walking around Toronto the last few days. I filmed with Sagar Shah from Chess Base India on the street, and we're running into people. Probably 9 out of 10 said, "Why are you in Toronto?" And I said, "The candidates." And they said, "When is that? Where is that?" And that's strange to me, because I feel like the second I make the first round recap, everybody's going to come and immediately start watching the entire tournament. So how do we work together between FIDE as the organizing body? I don't want to organize the World Rapid and Blitz in Samarkand. Like, that's not what I'm interested in doing. But I also want the fans to be aware, like, a long time in advance. I want them to make the plans to watch. I want them to buy the tickets. I want everything to be sold out. I don't want it to be 70%. I want everything to be sold out. So how do content creators fit into all of this? Why was I invited so late to come here? I'm so sad. I'm in a 1-hour flight away.
Okay. Let's go one by one. First of all, I agree. There has been quite a disconnect, let's say, by FIDE and between FIDE and let's say streamers and so on. I don't think it's a matter of bad will. I think both sides here were a bit, let's say, not flexible enough, I would say. because I wouldn't name names, but I spoke personally to several leading streamers, and I don't mean Hikaru because he's a streamer, but he's a great player. So just streamers, and or YouTubers, and the angle you guys are looking at also is indeed different from what we do, and not very easy to find a common angle how we could work together. Part of the blame goes for ourselves, that's for sure. We actually had internal changes, and I think you could notice that for half a year now, FIDE Social looks very, very much different, and I'm proud about that. I think we made a big step. As for how we can work together, it's not something that can be probably resolved now. We talk and resolve, but it's sure that we obviously have this wish, have this will to cooperate and to see how it can be made. For Toronto, I would say the event was announced back in January 23. It's not like we have been announcing like a few months ago, so that it is in Toronto. Partly let's say the delay on communication and so was a result that we had to invest a lot of time and energy into staging the event itself and thinking less indeed about some sort of a promotion otherwise. And we can improve on that, and certainly we will. As for engaging publics, I think that is one of the reasons why we bring the event to Toronto, because North America has been largely neglected. I mean, FIDE hasn't staged any big event here for many, many years. So we can do so. We are bringing also World Corporate Championship to New York this year, June 14 to 17. So don't tell me I didn't inform you in time.
Okay, yes.
So we expect there some world leading companies and corporate brands and also top players. And Hikaru will be also as a guest there, and we would love to see you there. It will be in the heart of Manhattan, near Wall Street, and so on.
Okay.
So we are really thinking of it. It's not like we are neglecting it. And I think it is very likely that if we have any serious intention to stage one of the next big things here in America or North America, we would do so. Be it World Rapid and Blitz, be it World Championship match, and so on. We have been a bit unlucky that all this also collided with Magnus deciding to skip, because Magnus is Magnus. I mean, you can. The reality is that he is the one which is very attractive to public and chess fans, and you cannot just neglect that fact, and we do not neglect them. At the same time, we also have to be balanced. We cannot just entirely reshuffle the World Championship cycle and the whole what chess world just to cope with Magnus' wishes, especially that they are not very much in line with what other top players thinking about the game.
I was just about to ask you that. So you have had conversations with Magnus about format and cycle, and then you have similar conversations with other top 10 players, and you're saying
more than top 10. I think we had with every top 30 player.
And what was the balance of I'm open to change versus the current system is good?
Current system is good. Was like anything between 80 and 90%.
Okay.
The time controls, the thing, many people were supporting the time control, which is used by us in the World Cup, which is 90 minutes plus 30 minutes.
Yeah, the kind of standard.
Yeah. Many people said that they found it reasonable still. But I think only one or two more were supportive of semi-rapid time control with 45 minutes or so on. So we keep experimenting. I don't know if people would know, but we already staged World Team Championship with this time control 45 minutes plus 10 seconds, two games a day. Actually, it was a nice test, and many people saw it as reasonable. But at least at this stage, top players, but also spectators, didn't find it suitable for, let's say, World Championship, because these are different things, and we have to always experiment before going for something truly revolutionary. So I do not exclude the possibility that even the next World Cup 2025 would be played under this shortened time control to see how it works.
Do you think that the candidates will ever not happen, and the World Championship cycle will have a big overhaul, and instead we will do let's say a system of tennis. Is it a conversation that is ongoing where we don't need a world champion? We just need 4 to 5 Grand Slam equivalents. Like you can throw in FIDE, you can throw in whatever, and then there will be some other tournaments during the year. And that way everybody knows what's happening. Everybody's kind of once a month watching all the matches, and some sort of ranking system. And we don't need kind of the candidates. We don't need the World Championship.
Very good question. We are thinking about it constantly. Indeed, as it is now, for many people who watch from outside, the whole cycle looks a bit heavy. The question is that KO system, which is great for tennis, it is not always great for chess for one simple reason. It can work only with the shortened time controls.
Okay.
Because you cannot logistically, or even from any other perspective, have an event, KO event with more than 16 players play classic. It would just take long weeks, simply because every round you need 3 days at least. If you play classical time control, you play it again. So that's, even the World Cup, which we have, and we have now World Cup system, it runs for a month, and you cannot have many events like that throughout the year.
Most tennis events run about 3 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, but then there's qualifiers. So like nobody watches the qualifiers.
2 weeks is the Australian Open, and everything is 2 weeks, typically.
I guess, yeah, because they have a day of rest. And
no.
No, I'm saying they play a match. They don't play a match on the very next day, like
right. But they play 6 matches for instance.
Sure.
So that's but that's only 1 day. So in chess, if you do that, it only can work once again if you basically say, okay, guys, from now on we do not do any classical. We just play 2 games a day and tie break the same night, and then we run with it. That's a radical option, I would say. I mean, for let's say for content creators, for many online viewers, it is indeed more about the pace, drama, number of games played, and number of. But is it necessarily the thing chess is valued for? Is it something that we are selling when chess is going to schools to teach kids and so on? Because if you are a kid, how you are supposed to learn something if you're playing only very fast games? That's not very clear answer to me. I mean, but I understand it's never like we are saying, no, we would go with Botvinnik school and we will play, and no, not this way. But we always try to look at different angles.
Yeah, obviously every sport goes through certain changes. American baseball, now there's a timer for how fast you have to throw. They're trying to speed up the games. But that's mostly because there's a package on television. It's really at the end of the day, it's really what all of it is all about. Formula One, I mean, they tinker with the cars. I think in football now they're talking about different amount of substitutes. So for chess, yeah, I talk about this a lot. All of these alterations at the end of the day affect the heart and soul and the quality. I mean, the ultimate quality of the game. But I think I support the system of like I just described. If there is kind of this package, if there is this sort of 2 to 3 week tournament once a month, and there's a system of qualification, even if the qualifiers are knocked out in the first round. The same thing happens in other sports. There's a lot of even tennis players now that make content because they talk about being number 250 in the world, and they lose money every year. I mean, until they can make it big. So it's just, I suppose it's sort of the unfortunate climb in reality of being an athlete that's not yet ultra elite. Maybe in chess we'll get kind of a similar thing. But I'm staying optimistic in the sense that if we do find a way to make the whole thing a little bit more organized and not just the random tournaments that pop up every single, couple of months, with different attempts, if there is kind of a system, and whether freestyle chess plays a role in that or whether making it 45-minute plays a role in that, I think more people will be interested. I think if there's just a much clearer format, it will be better for everybody. It will be better for young players who are 13 and just became GM. They have a limited amount of time, right? Like,
look, it's a bit chicken and egg question. Because
yeah, I know, because
if you have, we spoke with IMG, for example, that was Endeavor. If you have a proposal on the table which allows you to reach some, funds like in tennis they have, that's certainly a major incentive to start making changes. If you don't have it, you make changes and let's see if it works and let's see if we can sell it. So you ruin the system. You deprive many players of opportunity. You still undermine what many good things which have been done in the past, and only in hopes that it would eventually sell, which is still, still chess is not as understandable as tennis or football, right? You need to understand the game to enjoy it, even in faster time control. Because maybe if they play bullets, you don't need to understand anything. But even if they play 2 hours games, you need to understand it. What they're thinking 2 minutes on this move and moves that pawn.
Well, but the interesting thing is, it's like I watched Daniil Dubov do an interview, and he said chess has incompetent majority. So for them, watching bullet, blitz, 45-minute, 90-minute, it's actually the same thing. So then, ultimately it is just a question of, are we messing with the quality of the game itself, or are we trying to build something that fans at home will get excited and clamor about? And we're playing into the drama and the pace and everything. And it is chicken and the egg. I agree, because you could completely overhaul the candidate system and it could fail, and then everybody looks like an idiot. So
indeed. So it's a huge responsibility on us. But once again, we are not, let's say, reluctant to look at it. Not only to look to take some steps, but as long as there is no clear strategy and understanding how it will function, it's very difficult. We can say just, okay, starting 2025, you'll have all this system, and who will organize, where the money comes from. And I speak with a lot of, actually, I'm a person in FIDE who's in charge of all negotiations, contracts, and sponsors and partnerships and broadcasts and everything. And the most difficult thing to sell is the World Rapid and Blitz Championship. It's 5 days. Is its budget over 2 million? Depending where you hold it, but from $2 to $2.5 million. That's the budget from the World Rapid and Blitz Championship.
And you need a hall for some 1,000+ people.
It's and you have only 5 days.
Yeah.
So it's not a long event like World Championship match where you have 4 weeks of competition. So it's difficult to raise funds for that, because people who are ready to put money into chess, often they also have this classical mindset. And chess traditionally, and that's many people do not realize, chess traditionally enjoyed support from donors rather than from sponsors.
But we see it now too. So,
and it kept being. It's not like FIDE is doing that. Even in America, everybody knows that St. Louis is great and so on. But it's not about. Now you see such a huge interest in America among kids, but you don't see any other top competitions a part of St. Louis. Why is that? Because in St. Louis you have Rex Singfield, who is putting money, and what's happening in other places? Why don't you have any major event in New York? You have thousands of players in New York.
Yeah.
You don't have even a strong open tournament, I'm sorry to say. Why is that? So the economy works different. The economy here works different. Now the economy of clicks, the economy of views. In your case, it's very relevant, but it doesn't necessarily help you to conduct, especially non-online events. So it's also difficult to pull up an event which is, a lot of logistics, with a venue, with transfers, with anti-cheating, and so on and so on. Let's say the event of the kind, like candidates here, the prize fund is $850,000, more or less. And the total budget is more than double, because you have to accommodate, you have to fly in people, you have venue, you have security, you have all sorts of things. So every top-notch event is also have to think about that. And if you start something new, you have to also know how you cover that. Because if you have, 4 or 5 events which would cost you 2 or 3 million each, then you need to know where the money comes from. It would be very irresponsible to announce it without having a proper backing for staging it. I'll give you one striking example, most striking of those, I think. You remember the great idea of having Magnus was Hikaru last year?
Yeah.
So think about it. It's just 2 players. You don't need to bring everybody. You just have 2 players. You just have 1 board and so on. And it didn't work. Even chess.com, mightychess.com, it didn't work.
Yeah.
And it shows you that it's not that simple. Think about it. You have most popular streamer. Okay, sorry. Most popular chess player streamer.
I'm not a streamer. I'm a YouTuber.
So, right.
Yeah.
And you have a GOAT of chess, or about that.
You can't say he's the GOAT. You have to say it's Kasparov.
Yeah. So there are 2 of them playing one against other.
Yeah.
So there's no some player who would be considered, let's say, and there's a one against other, which is always and you cannot raise, the idea was to have 1 million prize fund.
Yeah.
And it didn't work.
Yeah.
We as FIDE, we stage every year events for, I would be afraid to go, let's say, wrong with the number, but the total budget of our events, which we are holding every year is between 20 and 30 million. Only events we are staging. And it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really difficult. And each time we have to find money, be it a country, be it a GR, and we have to talk, let's say, next big thing we stage in Hungary, Chess Olympiad. You say, what's FIDE is different from others? Let's say Chess Olympiad was staging in Budapest this year. Mm-hmm. 200 countries. Okay. Maybe not everybody comes. 190 would come for sure.
So the budget for that is sounds like it's close to 10 billion?
Over 15 million euros.
15, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is this one? Yeah. Or World Championship match for that matter, which only 2 players are. Mm-hmm. But I know Magnus and Hikar was supposed to play for 1 week. Our World Championship match, the official World Championship match is almost 4 weeks.
Yeah. It could go 6 days, I suppose.
well,
theoretically, that would be a worse nightmare, but.
Yeah. But I'm telling you that it's always, just people do not think about it. They see what's on the surface, how the thing looks. But when you're inside, you understand that it's difficult things to pull, and finding money for all that is also a big responsibility.
We talked a lot on this subject, but I guess more generally, to sign off would be what, in your opinion, is the future of chess? Not just for the top players, all the way down to the kids or the adults that are brand new. Online, over the board.
I think it will keep rising, the interest. I think we all saw the peaks and some bumps also as well. But in general, I think the trajectory is good for chess. The availability and the affordability of online formats certainly help great deal. Also chess, one thing which people rarely think about, but why is it so popular? It's very simple, because the game is very easy to learn, but hard to master. You learn it very quickly. I'm a fan of all sorts of board games, but it's pretty difficult to study them, most of them.
Yeah.
Those who are simple, they're not interesting. You exhaust them within a few days, right? And those which are difficult, and chess is ideal game one to one, because there are some games which can be played also by 2 players. I mean, like Colonizers of Catan, my favorite board game. You have to play 3 or 4 because you cannot trade with someone.
Yeah. And
so chess is very simple, but it's also hard to master. It could take you years to reach a level of 1,000 or 1,500. And not necessarily you will reach. So it's exciting. It's easy. It's very affordable, because what you need, you can play for free. And, that's why I think it has a great future. And it happens more and more. And we see more and more young talents. Just another day, we saw the young guy from Turkey, Erdogmuş, just meeting another grandmaster at 12, and he's very bright. I saw his game. And it's nice. And it's all over the place. Previously, what was chess 50 years ago? It was Soviet Union, Bobby Fischer, not necessarily America, but Bobby Fischer and a couple of other American players, and occasional 1-2 players all over the world. That's it.
Yeah.
Now you have chess everywhere. You look at the top 50 in the world, would be like 20 countries or 25 countries there. And I think we have a bright future. And, sometimes, let's say, we look at different, angles and the perception is different, which is fair, but it's not necessarily bad. I mean, you do something that we cannot. You as a YouTuber. Chess.com does a lot which we cannot, but we do also a lot of things which you guys cannot. So there's a question where to find this synergy and where to find this win-win cooperation. I think it's important to talk, to listen to each other, and I'm happy we had this opportunity.
Yeah. Thank
you.